Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Good morning, Baltimore. Good morning on this beautiful, beautiful day. That those of us that are blessed enough to be have gotten out of our beds this morning, washed it up, and hopefully, and came out into the day to go about our day's journey. We say thank you, Lord, for another day, for another time, another opportunity, oh God, to bring some love and sunshine into the lives of others. I tell you, the Bible says, let thy will be done in earth as it is on heaven. A lot of people got it twisted. They think that we got to be like we so holier than thou, like it is up in heaven. But that ain't the way the Bible says it. We need to do what the Bible, what Jesus told us to do, to love the Lord thy God with all our heart, mind, body, and soul, and to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. We thank each and every one of you all for joining us here today. God is so good. I tell you, as many of you know, some of you don't know, one of our co-anchors, Brother Richard Terry, is in the hospital and he's not well at all. In fact, he's deathly ill. And we want all of you all to understand and to believe in prayer and that God is a healer. We want you all right now to touch the radio if you're not driving, if you're in a safe place. And let us lift up a prayer for our brother and all the sick into our city. All of those that are bedridden, can't get out, that are just home. Even if it's nothing but the flu, you're not feeling well, or if you are terminally ill, we're going to pray for the peace of God upon your lives. Right now, in the name of Jesus, I pray. Oh God, we love you so much. We bless you, Lord, for being God. Oh God, for making the way when we couldn't see a way so many times in our lives. Oh God, as a group of people, oh God, what would we have done without having hope and faith through you, Lord? Lord, right now we're coming to you, asking you to touch our dear brother, Richard Terry. Touch his body, touch his mind right now, Lord. Touch all those nurses and all those doctors that are attending him, oh God. You know the need, oh God. Touch him from the crown of his head to the soles of his feet, oh God. Encourage him, oh God. We rebuke the spirit of hopelessness, oh God. And let him know, oh God, that you're not through with him. We need him so much, oh Lord. The city needs him, oh God, because he is our library, oh God. And he's so full of knowledge and wisdom, Lord. We ask that you preserve him and keep him, oh God. Keep him in your care, oh God. He'll give you the praise as we will give you the praise to thank you. To thank you, to love you the more, oh God, and help us, oh God, to love one another, even our neighbors, oh God. Help us to be reminded that the neighbor don't have to live next door with each other, oh God. Help us to love one another, oh God, and be not so quick to attack. Help us to forgive one another, oh God, because that keeps us from you, oh God. It's a blockage that we don't realize, oh God. But we want to thank you right now, God, for the peace that passes all understanding. In thy Son, Jesus Christ's name, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. And amen. All right, I went to see him yesterday. I went to see Richard in the hospital. And you know, when you're really sick, you're really more introspective. And you're thinking about your life. And I was trying to get him to see how it was counterproductive for him to be worrying about things that happened in the past. But he's just like all of us. He's human. And, you know, but that creates stress, you know, and the last thing he needs is added stress. So we're praying for him. I'm sorry to keep talking about him, but our brother is just in desperate need. Last week, I called him because he didn't call in on Sunday and didn't get an answer. And then Doc Cheatham called me. Was it Monday morning, Doc?
Yes, Monday morning.
Monday morning, said, and asked me, had I heard from Richard? And I said, no, I haven't heard from him. So I know the hospital that he generally goes to. So I called the hospital to see if they had him in there, because I knew he had to have a bunch of tests supposedly last week. And he wasn't there. And we couldn't think of any other place he could be. And Doc went to his house and knocked on the door and talked to the neighbors and didn't hear anything, and so he called me. I was in the car on my way to DC, and we said no. We got to call the police. We've got to call the police to get in that house to make sure he's not in there. And anyway, to make a long story short, the policeman came. I called from Montgomery County, from Baltimore County and Baltimore City Police, and had asked them to go out there. And every one of those operators said, no, sir, this doesn't sound right. We'll send somebody out. And they got there, and Doc was there waiting for them. And Doc had been knocking on the door repeatedly and couldn't hear anything. And if I'm correct, Doc, you said the policeman kicked the door real hard?
It was a deadbolt door to the back. The front, we didn't get any responses. You could hear the doorbell ringing. We had a real nice Greek officer. I did speak to Northwestern Police District and commended him and said that he needs to be the officer of the month, because had it not been for him attempting to try to kick the door down, and we couldn't get the door open, but it was because of the loud noise, we then heard a soft voice, help me. I'm here. And that was him.
Oh, my God.
That was him. And we immediately called the fire department rather than trying to really tear the door open. They went upstairs and went down. And hearing the nurse that evening, had he been out one more day, he probably would not have been with us. 5 days, no food, no water.
Yes, just laying there. He don't even remember when he blacked out. He told me.
And he doesn't know how he blacked out.
Yes, I know.
And that's a part of the scary part. And I have a community meeting tomorrow. We've had a couple of issues, including one of our neighbors getting shot. But one of the things I mentioned, my neighbors would tell you, every month that we meet, I'll tell them, all of you, check on your seniors.
Yes.
Especially during the summer and during the winter. You don't see them. You don't hear them. You don't see lights. Don't assume that they're just in their house.
That's right.
Assume the worst. I know that sounds bad for me to say that, but assume the worst, that if you don't see or hear them, something as small as falling in a tub.
That's right.
Falling down the steps, trying to come down, blacking out because you didn't eat enough. You didn't eat that day.
Yeah, he hadn't eaten in days.
Your blood sugar goes down.
Exactly, he had diabetes, and he does it. I call him all the time. We talk every day. So when he don't call me, I call him. And most of the time, I said, "Have you eaten, Richard?" "No, I don't have an appetite."
Well, he hard-headed like the rest of us, Patrick. Jason, we all hard-headed. Not all of us. I shouldn't say that, but so many. Starting with myself. And guys, the third Saturday in June, whatever the 13th is, not the weekend of Father's Day, but the weekend before, we're bringing back Men's Blue Suit Health Awareness. We're going to start talking to men again about their health, candidly having discussions, asking each other, what are your ailments? What are you taking? What is your doctor's name? 80% of us can't answer that question because we don't have one.
Right, we don't have one.
Guys, we got to do better, but we got to begin talking to each other. We're going to use the barbershops. We're going to have guys talking not just about basketball and football and baseball, but let's talk about our health, guys.
Yes, sir.
We can't lose friends like this.
No, we can't. And now we can't lose fathers. We can't lose husbands, because once the father dies, man, the family's like the head is cut off in so many situations. And we just know that it's just not fair because so many die needlessly.
P.M. Smith said something to me when I told him about doing Father's Day as a weekend. He said, "No, Doc, got a suggestion for it." And I readily took it. Do it during the Saturday before that. That Sunday, the Sunday before Father's Day, is Children's Day. And he said use the concept, children, fathers, do it for your children.
Yes, I love
Take
that.
care of your health for your children.
Yes,
Don't leave your children without a dad because you died.
Yes, man.
So we're going to do that.
Yeah. All those warriors out there that are out there fighting for their community, you're no good to the community if your health is not right.
Come on, say so, Jason. Yes,
you can't help nobody. And forgive me, I came in here with Richard on our mind. Y'all know we just lost our other great savant, our great, brilliant, and wonderful James C. Morant. His chair is there with his microphone as he would have had it there. We lost him about, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we're in a state of
I put my scarf on it so
Yes.
he could be warm
Yes, he
today
could
because
be
it's
warm.
cold outside.
Yeah, you did. Yes, you
That
did.
was my thought of him today.
And
I
we
said,
pray
he
for-
probably come in here with a jacket or scarf and stuff.
Yeah.
He said, let me put a scarf on him
Yes,
today.
you did. Yes, you did. We pray for his family. We can't imagine the emptiness, the void that has been created. But I want to get back to the seniors one more time. Please say hello to my co-host, Jason Rodriguez. How are you, Jason?
Good morning, family. Just want to remind everyone we are now streaming live on Facebook, Periscope, as well as YouTube. And of course, we dedicate each and every show to the intelligent and distinguished gentleman, James C. Morant.
Yes, we do. And please say hello to the eminent and the brilliant Dr. Marvin Doc Cheatham. How are you, Doc?
Well, I'll say this. I'll say bonjour, buenos dias, assalamu alaikum, aluta continua, the script of the Dutch. That means good morning and how is y'all?
Had to throw a little ebonics up in there, too. That's right.
That's the only language I know.
Well, I tell you, but we're born with it. It's
all right.
It's a cultural. It's a cultural thing. I have no shame about it. It's just where you use it. My mama always say it ain't. There's no shame in us. The Jews have broken English. Everybody else they call it broken English. When we call
Yiddish, their own little language.
Hell yeah. Excuse me, and I didn't mean to cuss, but don't get me started this morning because we got a hot show for you today. As many of you might have heard, what's her name? Sonia Santelises, the superintendent of the school,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
just got a raise of over $300,000. She makes more than the mayor does. She's the highest paid official in the city, I would assume.
Yeah. Might be the state so far as officials are concerned.
And I think
she is the highest paid official.
And year after year of failure. Why did she get this raise? Who gave her this raise? Why does she think she deserved it? Who thinks she deserves it? Again, our children this winter are sitting in cold schools with no heat. The water fountains are still full of lead. And they're not performing anywhere near where they should be. So why are we giving this woman raise? I've met her. She's a nice lady, but I'm telling y'all something is going on. They are taxing us. Out the yin yang. We paying all these property taxes, and the money from the lottery is going there and getting no results. And this woman is being paid more than any official probably in the state. Jason, can you help a brother out?
I was telling you that there was. I told you this before that there was a flim-flam as far as school funding was concerned. So we originally had a source of funding for schools that came out of tax dollars. Mm-hmm. And what should have happened was when they implemented gambling,
lottery.
They should have took that money and put that money into education. Mm-hmm. What they did was they defunded education from the taxpayer base
and didn't put
and took the money from gambling, and now that supports school. Yeah. So there should have been a windfall of money.
But it's not just the Baltimore schools; it's all the county schools too.
Yeah, and all the schools were included in that. So originally, again, the funding for schools came from the tax dollar. There was a tax base,
understandable
tax source.
Yes.
So what should have happened was they take the gambling money and they put that on top of the educational.
That's what they should have done.
But what they did was they de-invested in the educational fund, the tax source, and they only now utilize the gambling.
And who was the one that put that legislation for? That was O'Malley. Was the one that did that little hoodwink. He is a snake beyond compare. This man, I tell you, I guess he just hates us. That's the only way I can figure. Why would you do such a thing? And then Hogan is sending money out to all these counties when 21215 buys more lottery tickets than any other zip code in the whole state. This is our money. We're the ones that are making this work. And then they take our money and then spend it to people who can't stand our guts, who hate us, who talk about us and deride us every chance they get.
Well, there's two sources of money. So again, one is gambling, which is paying for education. But the other source, when we talk about the Maryland Stadium Authority and lottery money, that money doesn't go into education. That goes into the general fund.
What?
So that's not even allocated for schools.
How can
the original promise of bringing gambling or legalized lottery to Maryland was on the promise that they were going to take that money and put that money into education. But because they never wrote it into the bill as guarantees, or like, for instance, with the gambling money, there's a lockbox, where that money has to go into education.
Right. But then what happens once it
There
gets to
was
the
no
lockbox?
lockbox for the Maryland lottery money.
Hogan has put a lockbox on it now, hasn't he?
For that's for gambling money. That's for money coming out of the casinos.
Oh, okay.
That's not money that's within the Maryland lottery and being managed through the Maryland Stadium Authority.
How do we change this?
I mean, we have to get on our legislators. And here's the thing. So when we went to Annapolis night for Baltimore City, most of the legislators that I spoke to that were there, that attended from the Baltimore delegation, they all said that their one of their top concerns, if it wasn't crime, was funding Kerwin and trying to find sources for Kerwin. Well, we wouldn't be worried about right now in Baltimore City where the funding's going to come from if we would have just held on to the money that we originally promised the people.
That's why you call it the flim flam.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Today is Kerwin Day in Annapolis.
Yes, it is.
So what do we need?
Yes, it is.
Kerwin Day, what does that mean?
It's really having a serious discussion as to how much funding is not only needed, but where is it going to come from, and how quickly is the governor going to agree, if in fact is he going to agree, and then how you're going to portion it out, and what responsibility financial-wise is each county going to take on it. I had some real concerns about the leadership of our school system.
Yes.
Many of our schools either have no heat or poor heat. Many of the schools have no air or fans, and the fans is not air.
Won't
for
cut
you.
there, no.
We're talking about 21st century schools. Two of my schools, Carver built 1953, Matthew Henson built 1963. We got schools that have now been rehabbed because of the 21st century that are much, much younger than these two schools. How do you leave these schools out?
All right.
I got a principal who cut out the food pantry. I'm in a poverty area where kids not only need breakfast every morning, the federal government mandates, because of the poorness, they have to have it. He cuts out a food pantry. And hear this, Friday night, we sent emails to everybody and text messages in the immediate neighborhood, alerting them that we were having a rally, that a 72-year-old senior got shot. And we were alerting folks because one block below Baker and Smallwood is Matthew Henson Elementary School. One block on the east side of Matthew Henson is Carver High School, one block away from the shooting. One block up the street is Easterwood Park. And we get a text message back from the principal saying, don't notify him. Well, doesn't he know his children walk one block away,
but
and
Doc,
he doesn't want us notifying
this
him?
is the same principal that cut out the food pantry?
Food pantry?
The same
And
principal.
The same principal that wanted to remove two of our best teachers. One was teacher of the year last year. One was teacher of the year before that. Mother and daughter. He decided since they wouldn't go along to get along, he wanted to remove both of them.
What's this principal's name?
Miller, principal of Matthew Henson Elementary School. I think he needs to resign.
I think
he needs to be asked to be removed.
Yes.
Our school has failed 2 years in a row under him. Like the brother. But you're harming my children.
Yes, sir.
Doc, was that the same principal that was involved when the guy was hung on the fence?
Well, wasn't the principal? That's the same neighborhood. Easterwood is one block west up the street. I don't think he had anything to do with that incident, but I do know this: the police department, they kind of failed, and I got to commend the police because they are helping us right now. But for them to lie and say that the children did not know that the guy was hanging in the park, well, how did he think the kids had it on their Facebook?
And on
Because
Instagram.
the kids saw it. They saw it. The Carver kids didn't see it quite as much as Matthew Henson did, because Carver kids come to school just a little bit later than Matthew Henson, but both schools saw it. But we got problems, guys, and
we do.
We got to step up to the plate. We got to step up and do a little bit more.
Well, first thing we're going to do, how many mayoral candidates? The only one I've heard talking about switching out the school board and changing that around is Vignaraji. Have y'all heard anybody else talk about this?
I'm not really sure, and I'll reach out to some of the candidates and ask them what their opinion on, because we can't have them on the broadcast. But I'm pretty sure more progressive folks like Ricky Vaughn definitely is in favor of Baltimore City control of the
Definitely
the school
control.
system.
And what we need, I have to give this commendation to Cheryl Glenn. When I was the NAACP president, I want to say 10, almost 15 years ago, we began introducing a bill to get at least a partially elected school board. These school board members, as well as our city council, most of them are disconnected from the neighborhoods that they even represent.
Yeah, just go look at the school board. You can tell these are not the parents of our children.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is the history of Baltimore City Schools. It was ran by Baltimore City government since 1829, and became separate. It became separate from the government in 1996 when partial control by the superintendent of public instructions and the school board of commissioners set a creed to take control of several failing schools in Baltimore City. So originally started with they had the No Child Left Act that was going on, which deemed that if there were certain schools that had failing
consistently,
consistently failing, that the state could come in and look at taking control of those schools, and that kind of began 1997 kind of began that downhill effect of taking over Baltimore City schools.
Well, when I asked yesterday who did this, everybody points directly to the state who gave her the raise, and they also to the board who gave her this raise.
The school board. Was
but you got that principal at Matthew Henderson is not the only principal that is failing.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Our kids. And when I went to the school board and asked why are these principals not held accountable when there are best practices that they should employ to make the schools better? And Dr. Santelises told me they have autonomy, meaning they can do what they want to do. We're paying them. I think the average salary of a principal is what, $60,000,
if not higher. I mean, there's some that make a little bit more than that.
So they just sitting there collecting money, don't care anything about our children. They obviously don't. When you shut down a food pantry in a neighborhood that is a food desert, and you know they don't have access to food, and you shut it down, probably because he didn't want to manage it. That's what it was.
Well, it's kind of hard to be what one would really consider a principal when the school closes. You can't find your principal. That should be an issue.
Absolutely.
Why are you rushing home so quickly? Why do you not have a relationship with the community that surrounds your school? And for your school to be failing twice. But I'm happy to say we announced this weekend in our rally that we are requesting that the Gilmore Elementary School, which is now closed, we are asking that be a job training rehabilitation center, that our brothers and sisters with no jobs, with criminal records, with drug addiction, that we put them into a major building and begin to teach them trades, almost like a vocational school.
Yes, man.
We're asking that this be done with Gilmore Elementary since it is closed.
Wow. 410-481-1010. Let's talk about our children.
From our first caller, I'll talk about the principles and the theory behind that, like we talked about yesterday.
410-481-1010. Darren, how are you? Welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Thank you for holding. Darren?
Yes, am I on?
Yes, you are. Good morning.
Oh, okay. Thanks for taking my call, man. Listen, I heard something said about this principal. I mean, the head of the schools. Sandalisa, or whatever her name is.
Yes, sir.
Ain't no way in the world that woman's supposed to be getting that kind of money.
No way.
Okay. This is the same woman that helped the vote to close down school that Carl Stokes had, that was outperforming the Baltimore City Public School. How does that happen in a city that's predominantly black? And I'll tell you why it happened, because the people are passive. You got half of the people waiting on SSI and disability, the other half waiting on Jesus. Okay. Okay, and this is a huge problem. Then you got dumb elected officials, like Cheryl Glenn and some of the rest of them, man, to take $35,000 for little or nothing to open up another Met clinic, as if we need another damn Met clinic in Baltimore City. Then you got this other city council dude who gave back his campaign donation, and these people uptown, They talking about, well, it's going to be another treatment facility. We don't need another treatment
No,
facility.
we don't. There are plenty. Let them go to those that are
We don't
already
need
there.
it.
No.
Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. This wouldn't be happening to the Koreans in their community.
No, it ain't happening up in Roland Park either.
And I'm going to tell you somewhere else it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen with these Hispanics once they finish coming here, because you got dumbass, excuse my language, elected officials that's willing to put aside $150,000 for their legal counsel. You know, when you could take that money and help clean up some of this trash and some of this madness that I see here in Baltimore City. Here's another problem. You got all of these black men and some women running around here. You know, they Masons, they Eastern Stars. They got a hypertension of creeds, but an anemia of deeds. With all of these big shots, our social clubs can't even get the damn funding that they need to really renovate that place the way it should be. So we get what we get because we accept what we accept, man.
Yes, sir.
We got a bunch of damn people running around with these damn titles in these lodges and stuff, man, and they don't have no damn power. The only power they got is to say, well, so-and-so is in my lodge. Well, where's your power? If you're supposed to have some power,
Right.
you Masons and you Shriners, then where's your power?
And where's your effectiveness?
You have no power.
Yes.
They done cut their balls off. That's what happened. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Amen to everything that this brother just said. I mean, really.
Just to give you a little deeper history, Newark, New Jersey was one of the first school takeovers, state controlled, back in 1989. And it passed, New Jersey had passed the first law allowing takeovers of local school districts.
Well, that was done here. It's been done here.
Yeah.
And it can be done here where the state can take those schools over, but the state ain't paying no attention because there ain't enough white folks in the school system for them to do it. And they're not trying to educate us. To bring up the question I was listening to, I believe it was Bill, what's the new guy, the second Speaker of the House now? Bill Henry, what's his name? Bill something. I heard him on Larry's show this morning. Who's next to Adrian? What's his name? Is it Bill? They were talking about this money going to Park Heights for the Pimlico. At first it was $200,000. Now they got it up to $2.5 million. That's going to Park Heights. That's supposed to go into the community. But mind you, all of this money has been going to the lottery for years and disappearing over there. My group, the Doefield Consolidated Trust was the first and only group that has gotten money from the lottery. Don't you touch that dial, y'all. We'll be right back.
I'm gonna get there, yes, somehow. Push my way through the crowd. I'm gonna grab you by the hand to a place we will stand. Stand proud, no fear. It's clear, I believe in you. I believe in me. Oh yeah, I believe that we.
WOLB Baltimore and WERQ FM HD3 Baltimore.
The views and opinions of the guest and host you hear on 1010 WOLB
are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Radio 1, its sponsors, or advertisers.
Now's the time for miracles. Oh, it's in my heart so deep.
Welcome back to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. We got a new board here, as y'all have probably been hearing Larry Young speak about. So if we stick our thing in the wrong hole, you know we didn't mean no harm. I believe we got Darren here again. But if that's the wrong name, please give us your name. Welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Do you have a question or comment? Let me see here. I pressed the wrong button.
Oh, you didn't have no. Leave it up.
Okay. Yes.
Caller?
Caller, give us your name. We got some new equipment here, so we don't know your name. What is your name?
Are you talking to me, Patrick?
Yes.
This is Diane. How
Hey,
y'all doing?
Di. All right, we're good.
Happy President's Day.
Yeah, right.
But it's just not for this president. I'm talking about all the ones before him. But anyway, it is Bill Ferguson. He is my he's my state senator. His real name is William Ferguson, but we call him Bill.
Okay.
And he's the president of the Senate.
Okay, he's the president.
Yes,
Did you
Mike Miller's place.
Did you hear him this morning?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Well, he seems to be very, very, very on top of it. He talked about the HBCUs, docs. I don't know. You didn't hear him either?
No, I didn't.
Well,
that was the best
Patrick,
stuff this morning. So.
Yes.
Patrick, remember I was telling y'all a couple of months ago, I have most of my state senate and delegates are white except for one, and she's black, one black delegate. But, okay, they coming back this weekend and giving us a town hall meeting, catching us up with what the bills are that's in Annapolis. They've been doing this ever since they got elected, and they put us in that district. We was in the old 44, and they split the district, and they put us in the 46. My legislative district is 46.
And where's the meeting going to be held?
It's going to be at Blind Industry over there on Huff Street off of Light Street over in South Baltimore. And they have it every year, and then they send us updates every week in our emails. What's happening in Annapolis? What do they need us to do? You know, and stuff like that. I love what they do. You know, but you have to also. He's doing a whole lot better because first he was scared of black people, and one of my friends told him, "You can't be a senator of a majority black community and be scared of black people." She told him right.
How did y'all know he was scared of black people?
She found out. She found out that he was, and she told me, she said, "You can't be a senator of all black folks and you scared of them."
Oh my God!
And she told me, and I was like, "No, you didn't, Cynthia." She said, "Yes, I did tell him too." She said, "I told him you got to get up off of that because you got a majority of African Americans."
Right.
That's
How did he get elected in the first place?
Right, if
I
there's a
told you they
majority.
split. They under
They
O'Malley.
appointed him.
No, wait a minute. Under O'Malley, right? When they did the census 10 years ago, they split the district. Remember, they put the 44th half in Baltimore County and the rest in Baltimore City. And we was part of 44th in southeast Baltimore. So they just put us over in the 46th legislature. So that's how he got the majority of African American. He covers Cherry Hill, Southwest Baltimore, and South Baltimore, and Southeast. So so he wasn't used to it because in South Baltimore, the majority of white people, right? Fellow Hill, Frails Point, and Canton and stuff, and then Locust Point and stuff like that.
Who in their right mind believes that O'Malley didn't know that when he appointed him?
I knew he did. I know he. I knew what.
Let me help you out a little bit historic wise. What actually happened? Bill Ferguson unseated a mainstay from that part of Baltimore City.
Yeah, wasn't it George Dallas?
George Dallas, that's right.
Yeah, George Dallas,
the
right.
son. That's how Ferguson first got in. Very surprising to a number of people that he was able to unseat Della. But Della basically had not been serving his mixed constituency as much as he was his white constituency. So Ferguson was able to garner some black votes.
And that's what happened, Doc, because you're right, because when I lived in Southwest Baltimore, Dallas was my state senator, and people were saying that it's like he had gotten tired and he didn't do anything. White people was calling on him. He wasn't returning calls enough, and you're right about what you just said. And I just forgot about him. Thank you for bringing it up.
It means I'm getting old, Diane.
Don't sound like you being renewed daily, man.
No, but you're right though. They were saying that Dallas act like he didn't. He acted like he didn't want to be the senator anymore. Because he wasn't answering people's calls when people was calling him and writing him and texting him. He wasn't doing none of that, and so. And that was an opportunity because they said Ferguson was younger than him and very energetic because, he was a school teacher first in Baltimore City schools.
Oh, really?
I forgot. Yeah, he was a school teacher a couple of back there, I think about 10 or 15 years before he took this. He was a school teacher in Baltimore. I forgot what school it was, but I have met his family and everything. And so far, we're getting what we want. I just have one person that I'm not going to call her name. She's my delegate, and sometimes she gets on my daggone nerves.
Well, I don't know why you ain't calling her name.
Because she act like you working with black people, black community. So if you say a community is bad, what are you trying to do to help it out? That's what I'm saying.
Right.
You saying that the community is bad. What are you doing to try to help? You make the policies and stuff in Annapolis. So and I'll go ahead and call her name, Brooke Learman.
Okay. Ain't she the woman that did that nasty text or something about African American people?
I'm not for sure. I might have missed that one. Wait a minute, Brandon. I might have missed that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google her.
But people don't like her. It was like, wait a minute, you got a majority African American community. You can't say those things. You got to try to help the people out and be more friendly. So you can. But I can say she's not scared to come down here because she's the only white person I know to come down here by herself.
Don't give up on Ferguson.
I'm not.
He's got a good track record. I think his heart is good.
He is.
His votes have been pretty sound for our community. So give him some support. I still like him. I still think he has a great deal to offer us, and he has been very beneficial to our community.
Yeah,
he is,
especially the HBCUs. Right. He's trying to get both parties to agree to not file a, what do you call it when they keeping things going on?
Well, we're hoping it don't go to the Supreme Court. And
that's what he's talking about.
Seems to be joining in with Adrian, the speaker, and speaking out, doing far more than the wannabe Black Caucus hasn't done in 13 years. At least they're talking about it. But I only know of one bill. I only know of one bill that's been introduced on HBCU so far. So they speaking with forked tongue, as one would say.
Why do you think our community is not on their cases? We don't care about education, Doc. Why aren't we, just like she said a few minutes ago, the reason that person got out of office because he wasn't returning calls, because he wasn't being effective.
Because we want, here it is, Patrick, and Doc, tell me if I'm right or wrong. Most of the time, we want the government to do for us what we can do for ourselves. So we have gotten laxated. I think Doc said this a couple of months ago. We have gotten so laxated that we think that they're supposed to go ahead and do whatever,
the right thing.
We trust them so much that we don't know when they're doing wrong. And, and to keep a fire lit underneath for them,
With your phone calls, yes,
right,
and emails.
And your text messages.
Yes.
You know what I found? She's getting ready to leave out this year. I think it's May 11th. She's retiring. Mary Pat Clark. When I first met her, this was many years ago in the 80s. She said, y'all people do not write me, do not call. She said, white people write me, and some of them cannot spell. She said, on Fridays, I don't take no appointments from people outside trying to get service from the city. She said, I concentrate on my constituency, my staff, and all of us on Friday. That's all I do.
Wow.
She said, but I don't get many from African Americans.
I know we don't. I don't know why we feel like, it's like my mother didn't like to go to PTA meeting because she thought her English wasn't good enough. It don't matter. You are power. We've got more power than we realize.
And we're hoping
she was telling us, she was telling me, she said, y'all got so much power. She said, I'm just waiting for you. But, it's things that, she's doing. Like you said, you had to stay on them, but this school board was appointed mostly by the mayors, and that's why Doc was pushing. Well, how many years ago was the Doc for elected school board?
At least 12.
Yeah, I remember when you first started, and he's been, pushing for it. And then I thought Cheryl Glenn was going to push it through a couple of years ago, but then they were talking about a half of a school. No, we need a whole elected school board. I'm sorry, because you see what they just done. All this money that they're giving this lady, and it's under
just ridiculous. Yeah.
And half of this school is under the power of the state of Maryland. So what is Hogan saying about this? Her salary.
Exactly, but I heard it has to start at the state in order for her to even get it. That's what I heard yesterday and read yesterday. That's where it starts from. So we need to. I want that principal's number, Jason. Could you give me the principal's number to that school, to the school, Matthew Henson? Yes.
Also, Patrick, we need to stay on them about her salary and stuff. But the parents, we got to start educating the parents because, like Doc was saying, parents got so much power. If you got so much power, you can get rid of the principal. You can get rid of the assistant principal, any teacher that's not doing their job. But the parents also have to do their job, have their students ready when they come in.
That's
to the
right.
school.
You don't send your child to school angry. That's the worst thing you can do.
No, you can.
It just shows their whole day off.
Oh, God, yeah.
And Diane, as far as getting the community involved, as far as, writing their legislators and their local politicians, we're hoping that the Civics Academy that we're going to start will be a beacon.
I told y'all keep me informed. Keep me informed, Patrick.
No, we're not keeping you informed. We're bringing you in.
Yes. Hey, Diane, let me ask you a question. So you don't have an issue with gerrymandering, and just to give the community a brief history, Maryland is third in the top 10 of gerrymandered states.
They've been gerrymandered ever since I was born. I'm 50-some years old, and I brought up in the 60s, right? I went to elementary school when I was 4. It's been gerrymandered ever since I could remember, and it's still gerrymandered. It's worse now because it's like we forgot the fight from the 70s.
Yes,
so
and
we gained something, and then we just
yes, but let's define gerrymandering. That's when the opposition party comes in and takes over territory to get more votes, just so y'all understand.
Which the Supreme Court has found to be illegal, the way that the maps were drawn for Maryland, and the responsibility of remapping falls on Governor
But who
Hogan.
is guilty of the gerrymandering that has taken place in the state of Maryland?
Democrats.
It is the Democratic Party.
Right.
I remember we represented the NAACP and spoke against the gerrymandering that was taking place. C4 was one of the leaders opposing the state of Maryland gerrymandering out state, and it is gerrymandering. If you look right now, you can't explain why the 7th district is Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and Howard County, other than that you were able to keep someone their seat in Congress. And I'm sad to say, unfortunately, Elijah gave up some of his district to help out Rupersberger.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Was that his name?
Yeah.
Rupersberger?
Yeah.
Okay. That's how that happened.
Now what's interesting about this whole gerrymandering thing is now the responsibility falls on a Republican governor to correct and rectify the gerrymandering, and I can only imagine what it's going to look like when it's done.
You're going to get a second member of the House of Representatives. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's what you're going to get. Thomas, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. How are you, sir? Thomas?
Brother Thomas.
Okay.
Brother Thomas, call back. We must have lost Brother Thomas because the phone lines are up.
Okay, do I drop him?
He's dropped. Just hit next. Next. Hit the next button.
Okay. Hi, Bubby. How are you? We're not hearing anybody.
Can you hear me? I hear you.
Yeah. We can hear you now. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. How's everybody doing?
We're doing just fine. You sent me. Do you want me to read what you sent me over the mail?
No, don't read it yet because I'm waiting for confirmation because it was not on housing letterhead.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm waiting for the president to call me back, but I believe what's in there is true. But it's not on letterhead. But let me just say this to you, gentlemen. The problem with Baltimore City politicians and the problem with Baltimore City talk show hosts is they too familiar, too friendly, they too entangled with the mess that's going on.
Not this show. Go ahead.
That's what I'm talking about, Doc Cheatham. Let me speak. I didn't interrupt you.
No, that wasn't Doc. That was Patrick.
Go ahead. I'm listening, though.
Now,
I'm listening.
I
accept your apology. That was not me speaking.
This is the problem. The hee-hawing and stuff going on when we have serious issues in our city because you friends, you went to school, you hung out, you drinking partners, and then when mess come up, you want to give them a benefit of doubt because you have the mic in your hand. See, I judge people on their deeds, not by what I care for.
And what they say. Yes,
Cheryl Glenn was a good person. Look where Cheryl Glenn got us at. Catherine Pugh was a good person, some of y'all say. And look where that got us at. This guy, Bill Ferguson, is a racist. And for y'all to sit up there and not say that he was put there by Martin O'Malley when Martin O'Malley was one of the main participants in the gerrymandering in destroying the 7th district.
We didn't say that. We didn't say.
I'm just speaking when people come on the radio and say, you got to give him a pass because he passed one bill for the black colleges.
Man, what are you talking? You're wrong, Bubby. You're wrong. You haven't heard that from me.
Yeah, not from us.
You haven't heard that from us, Bubby.
Okay, I'm listening. Let me finish when you have black colleges that fit into these communities.
Don't give out misinformation, Bubby. You're giving out.
I don't give out misinformation.
You just
I don't give out misinformation.
Well, nobody here has said what you said. We said though.
Okay. I don't want to have to call a name out, but okay. Somebody right there. Okay.
It ain't but three of us in this room. Which
Right.
one you want to talk
Right.
about?
And none of us have
It's
well, I
only
don't
three
have
of
any
us here.
experiences with Bill Ferguson, so he's not my
okay.
representative.
Let me-
Diane told us who he was. We didn't know that, so it's about
Right.
getting the information. So don't take offense.
Right.
We're not against you, Bubby. You know we're not. You know I'm not, man. I
And
welcome
I'm
when
not
you call
either.
because you have exposed so many things. That's the reason I asked you if I should read this letter that you was sent to me before I did it, and I appreciate you saying no because you haven't verified it yet. So no, there's nothing but, man, we here. Ain't nobody here got nothing to gain.
Let me say this, Patrick.
Okay.
You have a Baltimore CEO makes $325,000 plus perks.
Right.
And you have Baltimore City residents who are city employees barely make $30,000, and no one is asking Glenn Middleton, the executive director, or asking me, Council 67, why is he not leading a protest in front of the school board? Let me help you with that. Months ago, I reported about the executive director of the Baltimore City Housing Authority. Now her title been changed to president and CEO of the Housing Authority of Baltimore City. They was at a fundraiser for Glenn Middleton's wife, Sharon Middleton. When she approached Daniel Henson to go tell Glenn Middleton to make the 647 members take a contract that was financially unfair to them. And when you read the letter next week, because the president of their union, that local, will be calling me to make sure that letter is verifiable, which it is.
Okay.
But my point is, you have not heard on these radio shows anyone but you, Patrick, call out the misdeeds of Glenard Middleton, whose son worked in the office of Captain Pugh, now the mayor, Jack Young office, and no one seemed to call out these conflicts. Why city workers' salaries are beneath everyone else, and no one call out the conflict. They're afraid to say Glenard Middleton on the air.
Wow. Well, you're absolutely right, but I'm wondering, I think it was, I don't remember which one of the people running for mayor said the first thing they're going to do is to have orientation and re-education to the staff down there at the at City Hall. And then we heard that the present mayor told the people if they voted for him, they were going to be fired. That's what I heard. Now, that's rumor.
Yes, indeed. That's true. I heard it, too. That's true.
Yeah, if they voted for him. So y'all need to know what's going on. And Bubby, you know, man, I tell you what, I consider you a source as I do my co-anchors here. So please don't get offended. Just know we're trying the best we can to do the best we can.
I appreciate you,
for the
brother.
people. I appreciate you too. Be well, my brother. Bye-bye.
All right, be well.
All right.
And just to let the family know, so Santa Lisa's will end up being the highest paid in the state, according to most of the news articles that I've looked at. So she makes more than the governor. She makes more than any other CEO around the
State.
around the state. She makes more than the mayor. She makes more than the police commissioner,
And
the
some
state's attorney,
police who make
the
more
attorney
than,
general.
Wow.
I mean,
And failure. It would be okay if she was turning things around, but she has not for the past 4 years. And they gave her another 4 years. And if I'm quoting correctly, even if she quits or they fire her, they still got to pay her that salary for another year or so. Or is it in perpetuity?
well, most of these contracts that folks get have some sort of golden parachute or a parachute.
Hell, that ain't gold. That's
we're still
platinum.
paying. We're still paying for Dr. Alonzo and previous past administrators of Baltimore City Schools. So, you know.
Okay, all right. Listen, we're going to keep moving here. I believe we're going to go back to Thomas. Mark, I see you there. I'm coming to you next. Thomas, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. How are you?
Patrick, how are you, my friend? How you doing?
We're hanging well. God bless. How are you,
Hey,
sir?
listen, man. Santa Lisa's ought to be run out of town
I agree.
with Uber behind her, okay? Give her an Uber out of town. Not a private driver like she has. Give her an Uber out of town. Listen, she came in here with Alonzo.
Yes, she
okay?
did. Yes, she
She was
did.
Alonzo's number two, if I'm not mistaken. Tisha Edwards also came in here with
right.
Alonzo.
That's right.
These are black women who have done nothing but basically help perpetrate this fraud on our kids, man. And all we do is reward these people.
Yeah,
Now, she's
for
got
failure.
her contract. Jack Young, instead of him firing Tisha Edwards, he now put her over children family services? How can you put her over family services and she was instrumental in the detrimental of so many of our schools? Have anybody paid attention to all of the all of the schools that we had with black names on it, that these new names will now be taken off of these buildings?
No. What do you know about that, Jason?
I mean, that's been going on for years. You know, schools removing names like Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and
really,
I don't think there's too many schools left that have some sort of
black moniker, black Afrocentric.
Yeah.
Wow. And what's up, Baltimore? What's up? How y'all letting these people do this? All these tax dollars we paying?
Now, I'm going to tell you how they let these people do this, Patrick, because some of these folks got these people's personal cell phone numbers. They get a ticket to a Ravens game every now and again. That makes them submissive to this stuff. That makes them turn around and co-sign for these folks, man. I mean, yeah, I saw the interview that Victor Rogers did on this corner with the Squeezy kids the other day, talking about giving him jobs. You're helping them get jobs. You want to get them jobs on one hand, but you want to turn around and wiretap them on the other hand. How the hell are you going to do that?
He said he's wiretapping. I don't know about that.
So his theory is for crime fighting is that he wants to get back to wiretapping those violent criminals.
How about all these kids that they find? And I heard this morning, 43% of everybody that's a repeat offender is on probation. Somebody, and I believe it was the gentleman we were talking about this. No, it was, what's his name? Light complexion, a new senator,
Antonio Hayes.
Antonio Hayes says what they're trying to do is they're trying to build up something with these probation people so that they can service these people on probation to sort of stop that from happening, which is a brilliant idea.
Guys came here under the O'Malley administration.
Yeah.
What we don't realize about Martin O'Malley, 6 months before he left office, he signed an exclusive contract with this company called Prisons Corporation of America.
Yeah.
That he would guarantee that Maryland's prisons and the jails and stuff will stay full so these people can make money.
I didn't know he did that.
Martin O'Malley.
Really? I didn't know we were even under that.
Yes. Hey, Doc.
Yes,
You
sir.
remember hearing about that, Doc Cheatham?
Yes, sir. Remember, I was one of the lead plaintiffs in the lawsuit against Martin O'Malley for the illegal arrest that was putting people into those jails.
Over 100,000.
Over 100,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
My punishment was I could no longer be head of the election board. That was my punishment.
Really?
6 months before he left office, he signed a contract with them.
Wow.
And that contract is still in effect right now today, because the other governors that we had since him, nobody turned around and revisit that contract.
Wow.
And you got a governor right now, guys, that turned around, took money from the transportation fund and beautified the roads that's going by his property.
His business. Yes, he did, and they ain't said nothing. And I'm wondering why that is not being brought up. But here we are. Is that it, Thomas?
That's it, man.
Thank you so much for the information. We appreciate it. We're going to go to Glord. I believe that's Glord. They never get your name right. They just put Glory. Hi, Glory.
I know. Jason knows my name. Is that Jason in there too?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Jason's in here. We know who you
Jason,
are.
he know my name. He know how to pronounce my name. And how you doing, Doc?
I'm doing good, Glory. God bless you, man.
Yes, same to you guys too. It just took a while to get through, man, because I've been holding on for a while.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. We get going.
Yeah, and the thing is, I was born and raised again in Baltimore City. I've been around. I have family members and cousins in every zip code. 17. And I had aunts that taught school. I had the Carver, and I have a family right now live right there on Payson Street in that area. And knowing Baltimore City, as far as food desert, Doc, that's why we had those shoppers, on Monroe Street, that market, Bang, was it a Bang?
Yeah, Stop, Shop, and Save.
Yeah, we didn't have shoppers. We had Stop, Shop, and Save. Henry and his son.
Right. So they was all around. They was at Madonna. They was up here in my area and everything. I think we briefly talked about that before. But through the years, this is why, they had markets, down off of Lafayette, different places, but they didn't stay long because of a lot of, theft and stuff going on. But in that community that you're speaking of, you would never get a quality market there, because I briefly was telling you, because I know the clients, and we went to Pennsylvania to get clients to come into the city.
The clients, the people that own shoppers.
Shoppers up here on Liberty Heights where I live at.
Right.
And they got different locations, so it took us a while to get
all around the country on the East Coast. Yes, that's a big chain. Probably a good company to check into buying stocks into, y'all. Just a little tip.
Yeah.
But what else did you want to say, Glord? We got a lot of other people.
Well, I've been waiting for a long. They've been talking for 15, 20 minutes.
I know, man. We get to go.
You got to go. It's no problem.
Is there something else that you wanted to say?
Definitely so. Well, the other thing I want to say, when I heard y'all saying that the food pantry or feeding the kids in the school, that the
At Matthew Henderson. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Matthew Henderson. The thing is now, because they're going to do what they want to do, and it's unfortunate. But if the churches started to pick it up, because I do know some churches that do food pantries in certain areas, so that should be an avenue, to get something like that done. And I used to go to Bethel Church, and I remember when Sheila Dixon was going, and everything. They started a food pantry, and she was trying to get people from the neighborhood, like myself, because I live in that area as well, to come in to support and work with the food pantry. And it was hard to get people to come in.
Really?
To actually donate. Oh yeah, and that's all. And even now,
get people to donate food, or to do what?
Well, not donate, the work.
Oh,
to buy food. From the community. And
but that time, that was one of the biggest memberships in town. So all the middle class, upper middle class blacks wouldn't come help their brothers and sisters. Is that what you're saying?
Of course. During that time and even now, it's
food pantry. Unfortunately, Gloria, is not a solution. What we need are food markets. The problem is you have the Baltimore Development Corporation that has not figured out a way to give these owners some tax write-offs or some tips to allow them to come into our neighborhoods. That's the problem, and the fact that it is directly affecting more African Americans in the city of Baltimore. That's predominantly African American. That's why you have 25% of folks living in Baltimore City are living in the food desert, because we are now the majority, not the minority community, and we have a development corporation and we have city council folks who have not figured out, you got to figure out some way to deal with some tax incentives to allow these businesses to come here.
And that might be true. Doc, but I'm telling you now, we're not going to get a quality market.
You said we.
Well, the community as a whole.
I didn't think you were in our neighborhood.
All right. Thank you, Brother Glord. You're listening to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People on WOLB 1010 Baltimore. Y'all don't change that dial. We're not through. We got another half hour. And I see you, Manny, Norman, Mark, and Leon. I'm coming to you next. Y'all, we'll be right back.
The new 1010 WOLB with talk in the day and soul at night.
Please join us every Tuesday right here on WOLB 1010 AM from 2 to 2:30 for the Senior Huddle. This is where we'll discuss everything related to all those great seniors in our community. Hello, this is Ted Travis, your host for the Senior Huddle. We'll have information about events, products, services that will make life a little easier, not only for seniors, but for caregivers working in hospitals, assisted living, or long-term care, or if they're just at home taking care of a loved one. We will have something of interest for you. The Senior Huddle is brought to you in part by Ascend Healthcare Training, an approved state training vendor for assisted living, MedTech, CPR first aid, and consultants for RSA, home health care, and staffing agencies. Get all the information for seniors right here on WOLB 1010 AM every Tuesday from 2 to 2:30.
Live Casino and Hotel has a new member promotion. Sign up and receive $10 in free play instantly and earn up to $50 more when you sign up for a free live rewards card now through March 31st. Join today. For details, visit livecasinohotel.com. Looking for some nightly live entertainment? From rock to reggae, there's live music every night at Live Casino and Hotel. Check out the fun themes and drink specials all week long. And don't forget, tickets are selling out fast to see Patti LaBelle at the Hall on May 2nd. Tickets starting at $50. This is your chance to see American singer and songwriter Patti LaBelle performing at the Live Casino Entertainment Center, The Hall. With a career spanning over 50 years, this vocal powerhouse is not to be missed. To purchase tickets, visit livecasinohotel.com. The Hall at Live is your one-stop shop for show-stopping entertainment. For the full event lineup, visit livecasinohotel.com. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
WOLB Baltimore and WERQ FM HD3 Baltimore.
The views and opinions of the guest and host you hear on 1010 WOLB
are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Radio 1, its sponsors, or advertisers.
Yeah, that's the truth. Bless his heart, Michael Jackson. Thank you. You wrote a good one there. It'll be around forever because we know they don't care about us. Now, I'm going to give this over to, you know what? No, I told Manny I was coming to him next.
Right.
Go ahead. Manny, you got a question or comment, sir? Manny? Oh, no, he's not there. Manny? Let me see here. Maybe I need
Hold on.
Manny, are you there? Yes.
I'm here. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, thanks, man. Great show again. You know, $325,000 a year for the superintendent.
Isn't it unbelievable?
You know, you don't even have air conditioning or heat in the damn school system. That's atrocious, man.
It is.
You know, Alfonso, that black other superintendent went to jail, and now this $365,000 a year. Man, superintendent.
What are they thinking? Right.
I know. It has pissed me off to the highest level of disability, man.
Well,
but yet, those idiots, man, can find money. They can find money. They can find money, but they cannot find money for the school system.
They can't. In fact, they've been sending the money back because they haven't used it. And if that's not bad management, you know what I mean? The state is sending them the money, and then they don't even use it to do it. How callous is that? How incompetent is that?
Man, that don't make any sense, man.
No, it
because,
don't.
You know, and you can't find money for these people to get the kids to get heat in the school or air conditioning.
Or to drink from the water fountains.
Exactly. You can't even find money for these people who's falsely accused. And then prison time. You know, the damn prison time, man. But you know what?
We let them do it to us. We let them do it.
You know, but in life, at one time or another, every head's going to bow and every tongue must confess. But in the final analysis, you have to let your conscience choose what's best, man.
Yeah, you do. But you know what? That Diane said it early. God ain't going to do nothing that we won't do. You know what I mean? He gave us the health and strength to go down there and march on them and tell them, no. Why are you paying this money? She continuously fails year after year.
I mean, you had schools, in 2017 that weren't proficient in math. 2018, you also had schools that weren't proficient in math and reading.
Man, I mean, this is crazy, man.
It is. But until we stand up and say enough is enough,
good. You know, what we're going to have to do, we're going to stop asking stuff. And damn it, we're going to have to start demanding it, man.
Yes.
You know? We We're gonna have to be like a lion, man, a tiger.
But y'all want you to listen to what all these mayors that are running. See the one that don't bring it up. And if they don't bring this up, then you know that they are not the one. Okay? Because they ain't studying about it. They don't get in and do what they've been doing.
Right, but what can the mayor possibly, any of these new candidates possibly do?
Well, one thing they can do, they can push some sort of referendum or something so that our school board members are elected. Am I right or wrong?
I don't know if that's a
man.
state issue.
And one more thing, man. You know what a gazelle does, man? He does when he wakes up in Africa. When he wakes up, he doesn't think about eating, man. He think about surviving. So he gets up and he runs. We have to start running, man. My time is up, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, we're going to go to Norman. I believe Leon is next. Leon, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Do you have a question or comment, sir? Thank you for calling and holding.
I got a comment I'd like to make.
Go right ahead.
And we're going to take about 90 seconds.
All right.
Seconds. Is that what you get?
Yes, that would. Go right ahead. I didn't put your limit on you. I ain't be putting no limit on nobody. But as briefly and as concisely as you can say it, we welcome it. Thank you.
Okay, I started a mentor program, and it's supposed to take effect March the 2nd with this foreign car place on Falls Road across from U-Haul, okay? And, you know, I retired from the Postal Service and the city. I get a pension and Social Security because I'm 77, okay? I started the program back in 92 as a result of working campaigns, about 7 of them. I only lost one. And I understand that was because the lady that was running for governor took the black community for granted, okay?
Like they all do.
Anyway, I started the program with the guy who I worked with. He hired me. He said, I can't afford to paying them what you were making at the post office. But I said, let's make a deal. You fix my car. I had a Volvo 780. It wasn't worth a crap. One of the top of the lines, but it spinned out when you go around curbs. And I subsequently left him to go in the campaign. Now, I started this program for a congressman, 7th district. And because I wouldn't kiss his ring, me and him didn't get along, okay? And I told him I'd be glad when this damn campaign is over so I can get the hell out, okay? And evidently he talked to the campaign manager, and the manager said, hey, man, he ain't looking for nothing. He getting plenty of money coming in. And anyway, when I started the program with him, and everybody wanted to take credit for it. I didn't care as long as the students benefited. Okay? How many people have you seen, or students that leave high school and can work for BMW, Mercedes-Benz?
Not many. Your point, yes, I know.
Let me tell you, that's all he does. He repairs those kind of cars. And when I was in Brazil, of course, for a couple of years, that's another story. And when I got back, I heard the program had faltered, okay? So now, God rest his soul that he's gone, thank God, I started to revive the program again. Anyway, I'm telling you this because I'm walking through everything instead of sending it about, you know, in the bureaucracy, you know, with the paperwork. The principal, I'm going to take her a copy. I'm going to take the CEO of schools a copy. And I'm going to take the guy who's hiring him a copy. He said, as long as you monitor the program, I'll accept it. Wow. Because what was happening, you know how kids are, they leave school and they say they got some free time. They ain't going over there to work on no car.
Yeah, unless there's some sort of reward. I agree with you.
Absolutely. But he said, if you monitor it, I'll put it in effect.
Wow.
And I'm gonna say that to say this. I went to the school and I talked to everybody involved. Okay. And when I finally got to the top person, somebody told me she got autonomy. I said, what the hell does that mean? I don't know nothing about no autonomy. So it means that she controls her own budget. I said, well, I don't mean nothing to me. I'm trying to help the students.
Right. Well.
So anyway,
red flag.
I asked the autonomous person who was in charge.
Autonomy. Yeah. Okay.
Had
her vice principal talked to her about the program that I was going to start. Because she couldn't see nobody because she was seeing this person, that person, that person.
Right.
Anyway, I spent about 15 minutes with him, explaining it to him. When I got to her, I asked her, had he talked to her about it? And she said, no. I said, well, you got a communication problem in this school. I said, anyway, the last time I came to you was because kids were breaking in cars in the neighborhood. I said, now I'm coming to you with something positive. But let me tell you this. I went there last week to tell her that there had been a change in the date because March the 1st falls on Sunday, and you can't start no program on a Sunday because he ain't open on Sunday.
Right.
Okay? And I wanted to tell her that it was going to be March the 2nd, which was Monday. Okay? Anyway, the people in the office, the secretaries, I said, can I see the principal? And they're talking amongst themselves. I said, look, lady, I'm talking to her. Ain't you got no respect? I've been in this neighborhood since 1972. I said, so they went back and asked her, and I said, just tell her I need 5 minutes. And the girl came back and told me she was doing payroll.
What school was that?
I'm not going to tell you. But you're going to hear about it on the news.
Well, you want to give us the message, but you don't want to tell us what
exactly.
school. We can't help you if we don't know what school.
Exactly, man. Sorry about that. We're going to Norman. Norman, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Do you have a question or comment, sir?
Yes, I'm Norman. I'm in St. Petersburg, Florida. I normally call to talk to Lewis, but he told me about the intersection of Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman. Is that going to be going on this weekend or this week?
Intersection. I'm not sure. That was with the Jewish council person?
No,
was that what you're talking about? I'm not sure, sir.
I think it's with the Blacks History Month program. But I'm not sure what it
is. Is Lou's
show
coming on after this one?
Oh, you're talking about Lou Fields.
Lou Fields.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're on the wrong show.
Comes on right behind us.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, come on. Good. 1 o'clock. You can call him back.
Keep listening.
Okay, I'll call him.
All right. Thank
call him
you.
back.
All right, then. Very good. Now we've got. Let me see here. Mark.
Hello.
Well, hello. Welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. You have a question or comment, sir? Yes, sir.
All right. That doorbell pulls a ring. Bing. Bing. Wake up time. Hey. Man. A lot of strange stuff is going on in Baltimore City, and a lot of people don't realize that they can really flip the table over on a lot of these black leaderships in Baltimore City.
You think so?
It's closing the gap in.
I heard you. I've heard this before, so go right ahead. I'm listening. Trust me.
Look. I was coming from Leo Burrow's meeting, and I'm coming across. And I'm coming across up Madison and Utah, McCullough Street, where Elijah Cummings live at. They had John Hopkins students, about 30 of them, a company called Midtown. They all over there, redeveloped the playgrounds, cut the trees down, trimming them up, cleaning the alleyways up. So I'm asking them, who boundary is this? So where I'm getting at, they trying to put that apart of Midtown, which is on the other side of the which is where School of the Arts, Micah.
Okay. Micah. Yeah,
You're
talking about Meekin. Yeah.
Yeah, they adding all that with their community.
Oh, well, that's a good thing.
But what I'm saying, so Jew Heights, Penn North area, then you got a guy down there talking about Marble Hill, down the bottom of Dolphin and Jew Hill, and you work your way over to Doc Cheatham area. So how many associations y'all have from where you at Doc to where Elijah Cummings? You got about, I'm counting about 10 or 15.
Wow. You would think they would come together and form. I agree with you.
Doc Cheatham still there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Listen to you.
Yeah, how many associations? That's why you can't close that gap in, because nobody ain't coming together in uniform.
You You have an excellent point, and I agree. I attempted to do that with 2 organizations in my immediate area. Both were more afraid of losing their titles as president than us coming together. So you're right. You know, I tried it. My neighbors would tell you I tried to do it with 2 neighborhood associations on 2 sides of us, and said, listen, you know, we don't need to lose titles. We're not worried about titles.
Right.
We just have the same problems, the same challenges. Why don't we do some things together? The fear was
building quality of life.
Yeah, we tried to do this.
It's just selfish. It's selfishness.
We tried to do the same thing in Irvington.
Yeah, we
trying to connect multiple neighborhoods together and create the Frederick Corridor Association. So basically, everything that's associated in the Frederick Corridor area
together
come
as a
together.
monolith.
We were able to get some folks on board, but not all.
Then you got the institutions in the area. See, with Doc Cheatham at Flanagan Construction Company, soon when all them black supermarkets ran their course on, I think it's Pressman and Monroe, Flanagan brought the land, beautified it, whatever. Took the other land, put his bricks over there where the car wash was at. So you got money players in your community, but some reason they stock it. Then you got CBS on Penn North, came back, developed, built up from the ground up, and didn't develop nothing
They
around.
didn't do nothing and charge you more money for prescriptions.
I want to at least
Thank you,
partially give you some real information about P. Flanagan. We met with P. Flanagan. We also met with the Baltimore Development Corporation. You heard me mention that earlier. We mentioned when Brown's closed down, and there were 7 of them that closed down. We asked Baltimore Development Corporation to help the community rebuild that building because one, it needed to be torn down. It was in awful condition. We asked Baltimore Development Corporation to help us bring the food market back there. We got a no from them.
Not even a maybe?
We got a no, not a maybe.
Not even a study needed to be
not
done?
A study.
Or?
The answer was a no. You don't have enough money in that neighborhood. We agreed to allow P. Flanagan, since we couldn't do anything with it, to let them go ahead and take rather than have the property just sit there and
an eyesore.
No, not an eyesore, a dumping ground. Because that's
true.
No, but
they beautified it good, but I was wondering why they wouldn't back it because they've been around probably 100 years. That's amazing.
They've been there over 100. They've been there over 100.
Right. So then you got Greenwood Garage on North Avenue. They've been around about 100 years.
Your memory is real good, man. I got to give it to you.
Right. I'm saying, but this is what we ain't challenging the institutions around us. We don't have the banks. We don't have the banks and the savings and loans and all that in the North area. But we got these institutions been around 100
What
years.
you got is all these black people with power who won't come together and share it. They're so we're afraid somebody else is going to get the credit for it. And I thank you for your time. Very, very good conversation.
We want to give Coppin Heights Community Development has now a bank right in the 2700 block of West North Avenue, the new building that's being built right next to Coppin. They will have a BB&T banking area, so praise the Lord. We got a bank somewhere in the area.
Exactly.
May not be the bank we want, but at least it's a bank.
At least people have to go in and pay a third of their check to get a check cash. That's what it's for. Go ahead. Now, you said you were going to get it, Doc. You had something.
We talked during the break, Doc. I didn't know how many folks within your community knew that there was a program that actually started up in South and in West Baltimore, sponsored by Lyft.
Lyft or
actually it's Lyft, not Uber. Started by Lyft.
Okay.
Last year, November 25th, they started a pilot program, and they were looking to get up to 200 people to participate with being able to take a Lyft for $2.50 and take them a one-way trip to participate in grocery stores that were in areas that were food deserts. And I wanted to get your take on what you thought about that program.
I like the idea. The biggest problem with food is not the fact that you're in a food desert. It's the issue of transportation. It's accessibility to transportation. I like the idea. Just unfortunate that I am one of the biggest communities in West Baltimore. We don't know about it. Would love to have them come to one of our meetings and share with us what it is that they're doing. The problem with food desert is not the fact that you don't have food, is the accessibility to transportation.
Now the other question would be, is that because we talk about this almost every time we meet up in the morning here, that you are technically challenged. How many other folks, are technically challenged in your community that may not be able to utilize a lift service like that? I know that
all they got to do is get their children or their neighbor to do it, Jason.
But that means that we definitely need to help the community to understand that these programs exist.
So it might be good to have a little workshop or something like that.
But there's some folks that I know that don't even know how to operate the basic functions on their phone.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
I'm saying ouch.
Yes. Hi, Trent. You're the last caller of the day. Do you have a question or comment, sir? Trent?
Yes, how you doing today?
We're good. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I kind of lost my thought a little bit. I just wanted to say that all we really need to do, and I don't know if we do this anymore, but it's boycott. I don't know if people still boycott anymore, but I know that made a difference before.
Yes, it has. Yes, it does.
And that we are the number one consumers in America, black people.
What would you do for the school board? Would you say don't send your children to school?
No, I wouldn't say don't.
You got any suggestions for what we can do there?
I would say all the parents come to school with their children, and the parents don't leave the school, and the children don't leave the school until our demands are being met that day. And if it doesn't work that day, they come back tomorrow
and sit in
do the
again.
same thing.
Well, they ain't gonna do that because they got to go to work unless they come on Friday.
Family, I tell this story all the time on my Facebook Live that when I was having trouble with my son's school, Baybrook Elementary. We used to go to the school all the time and sit in the classroom. And so one day I went down to the principal and I asked the principal, I said, why is this school out of control like this? And she said, well, how many parents do you think I even get come up to the school and even sit in the school?
One of our biggest challenges is getting parents to not only go to the community meetings, but probably more important, and I'm sad to say, I got to say it, more important, but that's how I feel, being a part of the Parent-Teacher Association.
There's an organization here called Child First. Once a month, you have to come to a parent PTO meeting. Otherwise, they kick your kid out of the program. That's after school where they feed the kid and give them extracurricular activities. And if you don't come to that meeting, your child is out of that thing. And parents need it because that's free daycare after, and that costs hundreds of dollars a week and stuff. So they use that as leverage to get parents to come.
One of the challenges that some of us are having is it's a challenge trying to get the parents to come to school, but it makes it even more challenging when you have a principal that wants to mandate who's going to be the president of the PTA, and they're giving out food and cupcakes and donuts to entice the parents to vote one way rather than another, so they can have control of the parents. It makes it tough.
Was really important.
Yes,
it was really important. You know, a lot of these younger officials, as far as the principals and teachers, they're too busy on Facebook and Instagram competing, like you guys said, with egos and look at my career, and we're not putting the children first anymore. So
it's sad commentary. All right, thank you, Trent. Are you a first-time caller? I don't remember hearing your voice before.
I'm not a first-time caller, but I switch random names up because I don't want to seem like a.
Well, that's
you got good comments. You got good comments.
And we appreciate your thinking.
One more thing, bro. This is one more thing before I go. We got to know. I love y'all, but we got to know who we working for, and that's all I can say.
Yes,
well, I'm gonna give you another minute. What do you mean? I don't like the inference. What are you talking about? More specifically,
you know some of our black brothers and sisters have lost their path.
Yes,
and they have gotten fully connected with the Jews and Jesuits, and they have lost the love for their own people, which are me and you, and they do it for money. They may own these corporations that we work for. On your end, you guys are positive. But on another radio station that I'm not going to name, they're playing nothing but negative music that's corrupting the city and misleading our youth. We're trying to save. And at this very moment, you can change the station, and they're playing a song about shooting
Yeah, I was just telling Patrick the other day about this new genre of music that's been picked up on the East Coast. I mean, it's not new; it's been around for a while. Called trill music.
Yeah.
What's that? Trill?
It's called trill music. So it's originally from Chicago, but most of the lyrics are kindly are really aggressive.
Do you know what trill stands for?
Trill.
No.
Trill is trap music mixed with keeping it real music.
Oh.
So you're trapping your mind, and at the same time you're keeping it real. And our definition of keeping it real in the black community is being a real N-word, keeping it real as a real N-word, and that is not caring about anybody.
We're going to rebuke that demon right now in the name. And we're going to rebuke it back to the pits of hell. Last thing we need.
Trying to push them. That's what they pushing on us.
Yeah.
Remember they had the East Coast and West Coast trying to go against each other, so we can just
anything to divide us. All right, Trent, thank you for your positive input.
Doc, I didn't realize this looking at that article in reference to Lyft. 46,000 folks in Baltimore City live in 146,000 folks live in a food desert, and they're saying roughly 124,000 residents are of that are black.
Yeah,
check this out.
25% of the residents
live in food deserts. That's just unbelievable. Check this out. My nephew sent this to me. He says in 1987, the national home ownership rate for black households was 45.8%. And for white households, it was 68.7%. 30 years later, in 2017, that rate has fallen to 43.1% for blacks and risen to 72% for whites. This is what is hurting property taxes. That's what he says. And the reason
he's right. I'm looking at notes that I had in case we were discussing this. Howard University Joint Center for Housing Studies basically put out that report, and his numbers are pretty much on point, depending upon which year. We don't have a lot of black homeowners.
No, we don't.
We don't have a lot of black
But
homeowners.
many of us are like myself. We have a little equity in our houses, and we're getting older. And there is something called a reverse mortgage. And we were going to have the gentleman this week. I'm telling you, he is a straight shooter, surgical precision, and he's going to explain to us next Monday. We want y'all not to miss it and have your neighbors and stuff to call to tell you how to be able to take some equity out of your house, and then you don't have to move until you die. Okay, but you got to pay the property taxes on it and stuff to keep it up, and that's how they always end up taking our houses. But he's going to tell you, and he's a great guy. I tell you, his cousin is my insurance broker, and I tell you, I got some of the best insurance in the world. And this gentleman is going to be straightforward with us next week. Richard Myers is his name, so we don't want you to miss the show. It's been a blessed day. Richard, Terry, we're praying for you. You're in our thoughts. We miss your voice, and we keep everybody. Remember, just say, Lord bless and help Richard, restore him back to his health. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Anybody else got a closing
Sweet
comment?
Potato Pie Day, 10 a.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. We're selling sweet potato pies. We're going to donate all the funds to Matthew Henderson Elementary School, 1600 Payson Street, this Saturday, 10 to 12, 10 a.m. to 12 noon.
10 to 12. Well,
Sweet
I tell
Potato
you what,
Pie Day. It's National Day.
Yeah, oh, it is?
Yes,
National Day?
National Sweet Potato Pie Day.
For all of
22nd.
y'all that's ever eaten my sweet potato pie, you know I make some mean sweet potato
you gotta
pie.
donate a couple
I was
pies.
just getting ready to say I'm going to bring some pies over there so y'all can do it and y'all can come
I'm
and
not going to
donate.
steal them suits out of your house today, man.
I can give testimony on that one.
Well, I'm going to bake some pies. I was waiting for it, man. I love my sweet potato.
Yeah.
You know I'm from Texas. You know, we eat sweet potato pies like y'all eat apple pie here. And we make peach cobblers too. God bless you, each and every one of you. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for calling in. We're sorry sometimes that it seems like we're holding you forever. But you know, once we get rolling, we need to finish our thoughts. But that doesn't mean we don't want to hear from you. We want to hear from you, and especially those of you who call with solutions. But we want you to call the principal of Matthew Henderson Elementary School and find out why he closed up that food support over there, and didn't want to hear about people being killed in this community with all of our children going to that school. We want you to do it. Again, you've been listening to Patrick Henderson Meet the People. Say goodbye, Jason.
Folks, check up on your neighbors. Check up on your neighbors, please, especially those who are vulnerable.
Yes. Let's do that. You good, Doc?
All right, second emotion.
All right, we'll see y'all next Saturday at Matthew Henson, right, for the sweet potato pie?
This Saturday.
This Saturday at Matthew Henson. God bless. Have a great week. Love somebody.
It started from, so please don't let the time you so be wasted.
Talk in the day. Soul at night on the new 1010 WOLB.
The census is coming this spring. It's easier than ever to get counted. It's never been so simple to impact important investments for our community, like transportation, schools, jobs, healthcare. The census even affects how many elected officials represent us. You can complete it online, by phone, or by mail, even on your smartphone. Plus, it's safe. It's easy. It's important. Check out census.maryland.gov for more info. This message